Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to where are we at? Session 14 out of 16 of the Joy of Coding here at Portland State University. We've only got a couple of class meetings left, and so let's just talk about what's coming up next. So tonight we're going to start out. There was one more thing in the Android sort of coding thing that I wanted to show you. So after Prime Minister's questions, we'll do that. It'll probably take 10 or so minutes um, to do that. And then afterwards, we're going to spend the rest of the class in our second and final mob programming activity. We're going to be doing the Minesweeper kata. And tonight you have the option of attending remotely, unless we got like a handful of people on Zoom already, and got a nice number of people here in the classroom. So we'll figure out how many mobs and who's in which mob and how all of this works in a little while. But I also want to talk about what happens next week. So we're meeting twice next week. I'm going to start with Wednesday. It's the final exam. Let me tell you about the final exam. So final exam is worth 12% of your grade, 12 points. And project 5 is worth 14. So more of your grade depends on your Android program than it does your final exam. So invest your time accordingly over the next week. Final exam comes in two parts. There's an individual part and there's a group part. The group part is not coding. We've done plenty of coding with other people in this term. It's discussion. It's on a topic that involves critical thinking, working with others to come up with a creative solution to a problem. That's an activity that I hope you think is a fun way to end the term. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. So please show up in person so you can work with other people. The individual part of the final exam is administered via Canvas, so please bring your laptop to class. And there are 6, I believe, short answer questions. Well, or not necessarily short answer, but response questions. It's basically 2 quizzes put together, right? But it's on any topic that was covered in the course. And so then the best way to study for it is to get familiar with the slides. So I recommend that you look over the PDFs again, so to remind you what all the topics that were covered. There will be some questions that involve coding, the language and things like that. Although there isn't, I'm trying to think, much of the tremendous amount of coding required. But it is cumulative. It is on any topic, and it's those two, so the individual and the group portion are worth 12% of your grade. Anything else to know about the final exam? Again, starts at 6 o'clock. I think it opens on Canvas at 6:05. And I do on Canvas because it's just easier for the graders to grade. But please be here in class. The final exam is open book, open notes, but the only resources on the internet that you can use are the ones that are linked to from my homepage. So all the PDFs, you could use textbook, but you don't need it. You could watch the YouTube videos, but I don't know how practical that would be. I think you have something like 40 minutes to do the final exam. So trying to scroll through videos, or you can search transcripts. I don't know. But there's that. But please be here in person so we can be together. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It makes it easier to search. That's a good idea. Yeah. Although you could probably guess by the topic, which PDF to go to, but sure, if you want to put them all in one document, or if you want to print them out, kill some trees. Yeah, I mean, maybe, you have Weyerhaeuser stock or something like that. Support free on that. Cool. So anyway, that's how the final exam is going to work next Wednesday. It'll probably take the entire class time. I have some final words I'd like to share before class. And also next Wednesday, Project 5 is due. I encourage you to submit Project 5 before class. Much like I'll do tonight, while you're mobbing, I'll run through your Project 4 submissions, and give you feedback on next week during class while you're taking the final exam. I'll go through the Project 5 submissions and make sure they build on my machine. I'm actually going to go through and grade them, but I'll make sure that everything builds and it looks halfway decent. And so just in case something doesn't work, I can give you rapid feedback on that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do the sanity check on Project 4 today. Next week, I'll do the sanity check on Project 5. So I encourage you to submit, even if if it's not perfect next week or something like that. Tell me what you got just to make sure that it builds on my machine. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The content is anything that's linked to on my homepage, essentially. Oh, yeah, and you can use like my GitHub repositories and stuff like that. I don't think you're going to need to, but I mean that's fair game, right? If you're like, oh, I remember he had this one code example, or oh, I remember we did that as part of that he did that for Project 4, Project 4 refactoring or whatever. Yep, feel free to use that. But primarily it's the PDFs that'll be the source that'll be most helpful to you. Yeah. Yeah, the slides. So I mean, like Android UI development. That's a set of slides. Yep, this is basically what I cover in the lectures. Yes. Yep, that's the intent. So yeah, bring your laptop. That's the only thing on the internet, right? So you can't ask the chat GPT or go look up go ask your MySpace friends or whatever it is that you write. No. Yep. I believe it's 6 short answer questions, and so it's like I said, it's basically I think it was like 2 quizzes put together, and it's worth about as much as 2 quizzes. It's rounded up a little bit. It's 8 points and something. Yeah, any content is fair game. Um, yeah, anything that is in these, even if it's and I realize that some of these maybe you didn't go too deeply into, like maybe the lambda, the functional programming one, but it's fair game for the final. Let's see. Yeah. It's a small group activity where you apply critical thinking to a problem that historically has been interesting to students. That's all you get right now. Yeah. And really, the only way to not do well is to not do it. So yeah. Monday. So with the final exam being on Wednesday, I'm out of content, right? So I don't know what we're gonna do on Monday. One thing I tried last time I taught in the summer, I'm gonna try it again, is we'll just have a lab night. So I'm guessing that most of you will still be very much in the middle of your Android project. And so then I don't know, think of it as extended office hours, think of it as a chance to like be focused on your project development while you're here with your, with me and with other people. And we'll hang out for a couple hours and work on Android. Um, I'll if you want to join remotely, I think we can make that work. I'll try my best to like balance supporting people remotely and people here in the class too. But I thought that'd be a good use of time. Um, I could lecture you on something, but let's keep it relevant. The most relevant thing that we can be doing at this point is having some focused time on Android. Sound okay? Yeah. And we can also, if you want to do an Ask Me Anything, we can do that also. But let's get some stuff done. Other topics for Prime Minister's questions. Yeah. 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 Okay. So this is the emulator. So you're talking about this thing right here that looks at the phone. Oh yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah, go to one of the XML files, and then up here, you can toggle between the various views. So maybe you're just seeing the XML, which is the code view, and then up here you can switch to split, where you get XML on the left and then the design view on the right, or you can just look at the design view here like that. I think so. A couple of questions in chat. Let's see here. Is it fine to check PDF for preparation for exam? I don't know. What do you mean by check exactly? I mean, so you can print it out, you can load it on your computer, but those are the only computer accessible, again, the only computer accessible resources that are appropriate to use during the final exam are the things that are linked to from my website. Is reviewing quiz contents enough for the final? No. There may be topics on the final that are not necessarily on the quiz. That being said, it's not sufficient, but it's not a bad place to look. None of the questions will be the same. The general topics will be the same, right? I could ask you something about unit testing. I could ask you something about collections. I could ask you something about REST APIs or Android, but it's really you won't be seeing quiz questions on the final exam. Not that kind of final exam. Now, Project 4 was due tonight, and but I've heard from some of you that you're still working on it. Maybe some people just have some leftover thoughts they want to share, some questions they wanted to ask. Anything about Project 4 that I can tell you? Any feedback for me about Project 4? Yeah. Okay. I'll look at the submissions tonight while you're mobbing, and if I see sort of a fundamental issue, I will send you an email about it. Project 5, the Android project. I'm guessing most people haven't had a chance to really break ground on it yet, but are there anything I can clarify for you now as you're getting started with it? Okay, then. So there was one more thing about the Android project that I wanted to show you. I'll just start with Android Studio. In our calculator activity, well, okay. So in our Java code, we have this calculator application, and ultimately, we're going to want to. Well, you are going to want to use your appointment book classes, right? You'll be using things like appointment book. Maybe you'll use your pretty printer. Maybe it's just appointment book. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So, text dumper and text parser, because you'll be reading and writing from disk. So you'll need to use those classes. And out of the box, those classes aren't available, right? So if I wanted to, here as part of, let's see here as part of, let's say that I want to do the following. When we get a new sum here, let's say that, just for the sake of demonstration, we'll write stuff to the file, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a new appointment object, and I'll just put in a toast or something. But if I say new appointment, oops, I spelled it correctly. It doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know how to import it. And now I could create the class here, but I don't want you to have to start over from scratch with your appointment, even though I'll do this part of this demonstration. I want to be able to just copy in your code. And if you copy in your code, you're going to need my code, the abstract appointment. Right, that's a super class, so it's going to need my code in order to compile. So, in order to make that work, we need to follow some extra instructions that are here in the assignment down at the bottom, or at the bottom of page 1. So, we need to add something to the app/build.gradle file, and it's this line right here, implementation. So I copied that to the clipboard. So we go to the app directory. Oh, we're looking at app. We need to look, we go find the Gradle scripts, build.gradle and module app. And here, under dependencies, we need to add this right here. We need to use the proper quotes. Nice. And so this basically, what doesn't it like? It doesn't like it because it has 2 quotes. And I was a little happier, and now it's probably complaining that it's not in. Oh, there's a 303. Okay, which probably doesn't make a difference, but I will do that. And I will try to remember to update the assignments as is 303 also. And now what is it complaining about? Using version catalog instead. We'll leave it for here for now. This will work. If you want to fix it and put it in the version catalog, you can. So we've got this, and now, yeah. Now what we can do is we can create a new appointment class. We'll do that here, and you will just copy yours in. I'm going to put it in my source main package, or my source main, yeah, my main package. I guess I have to add to get. No need to ask me again. I'm going to sync my Gradle project because I added a new dependency. Because I want this thing to extend abstract appointment. And come on. No, that's interesting. I would not expect that to work right now because there we go. Has to wait for the project to fully resolve, I guess. Oh, I see. It's building. That's doing some stuff. Let's see if we can see what it's doing. Under build. Oh, first build of the night. I guess it's taking a while. Okay, good. So it doesn't find an abstract appointment book, or abstract appointment. No? Oh, interesting. Did I spell that correctly? Abstract appointment. I don't know if that dependency update necessarily took. Actually, okay, let's just do this. Let's just create that, and then just to get everything build, I will just redeploy my application. So the whole idea here is that I'm adding the classes, my classes, to the project so that they can be leveraged here. And you're going to need this for your abstract appointment, for your appointment book dumper, appointment book parser classes, classes like that. Okay, that seems good. Now it is redeploying the application. So while it's doing that, I ought to be able to say extends abstract point. Oh, I wonder why it's not taking. Okay, okay, let me make sure I didn't do something wrong here. This is the appointment book app. Oh, what is all this? Oh, I need to prepare that. Implementation, IO, GitHub, David Whitlock, Joy, Project 330. Huh. I could try that. I mean, what I think is happening is that Gradle just isn't synced up, but I thought I did oops. Come on, too many windows. I need to see myself. Just minimize, interesting. Okay, so then I wonder if, why doesn't that work? Extends edu pdx csjoy abstract appointment. Nope, it doesn't find it. So, huh. Okay, so one more thing to try. I'm going to look at the dependencies of my project. And let's see here, project structure. And I'm going to look at module dependencies on app. And oh, yeah, there it is. So, implementation. That should be okay. I wonder why I can't find it. What am I doing wrong here? I'm just going to try building it again and see if it complains when I build it via... Nope, it does not like it. Okay, what am I getting wrong here? VDPXS Joy, abstract appointment. Oops. Oh, it does not know about that. Okay. Yeah. I'll go back and try the 302. That shouldn't be a problem, though. Okay, I'm getting the same thing. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Do I need to put it with the library catalog? Is that going to make any difference? Nope. Huh. Oh, sync now? Yeah, let's see if we can. It might be that it would be really odd for it to have it require it in the catalog. We even saw that it had the dependency there. So, oh, nope, no, it's still doing its thing. It's indexing. Nope, still can't find it. Now, let me import it. Oh, now it lets me import it. So interesting. Well, something along those lines didn't work. So maybe we had to use the catalog. That's weird. Okay. Let me know if you have similar problems, and I'll help you out there. But that was surprising. So what I had to do is I had to go add it to the catalog, which then puts it in, where is it here? Projects, yeah, 3.0, and then puts it in. I don't know how it gets the, oh yeah, libraries. It added this projects. Okay, the diff isn't helping, but it went and added it there. Okay, well now I have an appointment. And let's see here, I need to implement some methods, like get begin time string, end time string. I'm just gonna say begin, I'm gonna say end, and then description. I'm gonna do this following. I'm going to say, oh, I'm just going to have this be a field that I'm going to create, and oops, I'm going to make it final, so I initialize it in the constructor. Nice, and now I'm going to go back to where I created. I'm just going to say the following. I'm going to send basically the sum that's passed in here. So we get the sum from the result activity, and I'm just going to say string value of sum that was passed in, and I'm going to put this into an appointment, and we're going to make a toast, and I'm going to say, I'm just going to say appointment.toString. Oops, that's not the context there, I forgot. This is the context, and then I want toast dot length long, and then show. So basically what I did here is, as you may recall from Monday, the on-activity result is what happens when you click back from the calculator activity, and it sends in the sum via the intent. And we get the sum from the intent. We add it to the list. This is what's displayed there on the main screen. After we write it into the file, now we're going to pop up a toast that has the toString value of the appointment that we just created. So let's give this a try. And this is a silly demonstration to show that yes, I can import the abstract classes from my that are required for the appointment classes. People are playing along at home where you're able to get it to work, so you can use. Did that end up working? Did you get it to work? Sorry, were you the one? What? Weird. Okay. Did you try the thing where you add to the version catalog? Oh yeah. Was the like Alt Enter able to fix it for you, or no? Okay. I'll commit this code shortly, and then you can look in GitHub to see. Yeah, it must have just been some combination of like refreshing the Gradle project at the right time, syncing the Gradle project. Wow, it's taking its own sweet time tonight. Don't have too much other stuff running. Okay, it's not warmed up yet. Although it might be taking longer because I added the dependency, it's possible. The Android build tools are smart about only including code that's absolutely necessary, so they do some amount of uh, analysis of the code that you include to figure out what is and is not used in the application. And so then maybe this first time it's taken a while. Okay, it looks like it's installed it. Now it's launching it. Got some stuff from last time. We'll go to the calculator. And we'll say 6 plus 7 is 13. And now when I go back to main, thank you, it should pop up, yeah, 13 from begin to end, which is the toString of that appointment. So again, the purpose of this was to demonstrate this is how you reference, this is how you use a class like appointment that extends abstract appointment inside your Android code. You need to make your Android project depend on my project's class, from the project's jar, technically. And so then, yeah, you end up adding things, this libs.version.toml, okay, where you define the project, you say projects, which is the name of the dependency, and then you give it the Maven group and project name, and then the version is listed up here. Just the way this thing works. Let me commit that and push it up here. Anything else you'd like to know about that? Nice. Okay, I'll push that over here. Yep. Nice. Okay, and with that, I think that's all the stuff, yeah, that I wanted to show you about Android development. So I hope you have like all the pieces parts you need to get started, right? So we wrote this silly little uh, calculator application to show you things like here's how you lay out widgets in the designer. Here's how you handle events like button clicks. Here's how you get information inputted by the user in text fields. Here's how you launch a new activity. Here's how you pass data back and forth to the activity via intents. Here's how you write data to a file. And now here's how you have your project depend on other code. History shows that's enough to get people started, but of course, if there's something that you come across, especially early on, that you're just like fundamentally doesn't work for you or doesn't make sense, please speak up. Want to make sure that everybody can get off to a brisk start with the Android project, because yeah, it's due a week from tonight. Okay. Okay. Let's start mobbing. Okay, we got 12 people. Excellent. So then, tonight's mobbing. Okay, so just as a reminder, we did some mobbing last week. Everybody here in person. Just wanted to run through a couple of things. Um, let's see here. So in just like in pairing, there are roles in mobbing. So you've got the driver as a person whose hands are on the keyboard, and even more so in mobbing than pairing, it has a certain discipline to just do what the primary or designated navigator is asking you to do, and that's another role, right? So you get the driver, the navigator is like a pairing, and then everybody else is a mobber. And really, the idea is that the navigator is having a discussion with the mob about what to do, where to go. What's the next test to write? How do we implement? How do we get that test passing? How should we structure our program? Where are there opportunities to refactor? So it is a conversation. If the mob is silent, that's probably a smell that something isn't happening right. So we will do another kata, and it'll be off in the kata's repository. So please, if you haven't already, update your checkout of the kata repository with the latest code. I think I got everything working again. Plus, I added a new new project. Actually, let me close out Android Studio and quit all this stuff, and I'll just walk through it. I added a new set of projects for tonight's mobbing, which is called Minesweeper. Let's see here, Kata's summer 2025. So you should see a Minesweeper directory now after you pull down the latest changes. It's got 4 projects in there, one for each mob. I don't think we'll have more than four mobs tonight. Yep. And so then please work in here. These projects ought to be laid out the same way all your other ones have. With the main and the package is the name of the mob, number of the mob, and then Minesweeper is the main class, and of course you've got unit tests and integration tests for them also. So that's the code. Please make sure you can get the code. And let's see here. I put a link. There's a link on the course webpage, and I also posted it into a Slack message right before class. A link off to the Minesweeper kata. So Minesweeper, it was a little video game that was included in early versions of Windows. Like I'm talking like Windows 3.1 and Windows 95. I don't even know if it's still there anymore when you're taking it out. The whole idea is that you play on this grid, and the grid has all of these sort of tiles, and behind some of those tiles is a mine. And what you want to do is try to, and so then what you do is you click or you sort of expose what's underneath the tile, and you want to avoid all the mines. And the way you know that there might be mines by is when you click on a tile, if there's a mine, then you step on the mine, the game's over. If there's not, there's a number will be revealed. And the number is the number of mines that are adjacent to that cell, adjacent to that tile that you turned over, that you clicked on. In this kata, what you do is you start out with a visual representation of the field like this, where an asterisk represents a mine, and then a dot represents an empty, or a cell without a mine. And from it, you should calculate a grid that looks like this, where if there is for each cell, if there's a mine in the cell, then you just have an asterisk, which is the mine. And if there's not a mine in that cell, then you list the number of cells adjacent to that cell that have a mine. So because for this cell right here, there is one mine adjacent to it, it has the value of 1. Similarly, for these two here, their values are 0 because they're not adjacent, neither of them is adjacent to a mine. This cell, actually, let's see here. These two cells, for instance, are adjacent, and by adjacent, I mean sort of tic-tac-toe rules, right? So if anything above, next to it, above, below, left, right, or on a diagonal is a mine, then that counts towards a total. So then both of those cells have two mines next to them. So the idea is that you take a program that has this input and generates this output. And so then the fields may be of any size. For the kata tonight, you can take it however you want. Yeah, you could read it from a file if you're comfortable doing it, but just writing some unit test or whatever where you have a string or an array of characters or something like that represents the before and after fields is fine, right? Please don't. I discourage you from spending like all of your time trying to figure out how to read from a file or take input from a command line. Really the goal here is to to implement the logic that computes the number of adjacent mines to any given cell. Are people vaguely familiar with this game? Okay, good. Most people, yeah, might play it on your phone or something. Watch your parents play or whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Yes, also the diagonals. Yep. Yep. Or rather, diagonals count as adjacent. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Anything else I can tell you about the kata before we figure out how we're going to break into mobs? Okay, I'm looking at the number of people that are on Zoom. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up a total of 4 breakout rooms so that every mob has a breakout room to use. Breakout rooms 1 and 2 are going to be reserved for people who are remote. And actually, the people who are remote can determine whether or not you want to break out into 1 mob or 2. I recommend a mob of between 5 and 7 people. The mob might be too big, and the dynamics might be a little different when you're remote. So I'll let you figure out what works, and feel free to move between rooms. So rooms 1 and 2 are for the remote mobs, and then rooms 3 and 4 I'll create, but those will be for the people here in the classroom. So we'll have 2 mobs in the classroom. I think we've got the right amount of people for that. 3 doesn't seem like the right amount. Plus, we only have 4 projects to work with. And however, people in the classroom can use the breakout room if it helps you share screens or helps you do that. So does all that make sense to everybody? Any questions about the sort of mechanics of mobbing tonight? Okay, I'll pause the recording. We'll start all of the Zoom stuff, and then we'll start our Pomodoros. Okay, well, this is an exciting night. Everybody did a lot of mobbing. I can't wait to hear all about it, what your thoughts were. I want to start with people who are remote, though, because I'm really curious what it was like being remote versus being in person like everybody was last week. So room 1, what were some of your key takeaways? What was different about tonight's mobbing? What was the same? What ideas do you want to share with everybody else? Room 1.
I can.
Oh,
No. You can go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. I guess we were talking about last thing, and I think Marcel agreed that in person was a little bit nicer. Um, at least I'll say for me that like the kind of like awkward thinking pauses where things kind of go slow is a bit nicer in person. Um, like everyone can kind of think out loud together. I think at least with our group, which was on me, we kind of rushed into coding before planning. But yeah, otherwise, Git was nice. We didn't run into any issues there, so that was good. Zoom is always nice for everyone to be able to see things at the same time. And I think we made pretty good headway. But yeah.
Cool, thanks for sharing that. Someone else from room 1, what were your thoughts? Anything to add there? Anything that you wanted to amplify, augment, or dispute?
So there was 6 of us, and not all of us got to go. because I guess we just didn't listen to you or didn't hear you. So that was yeah, I think only 3 of us got to go, and then 2 of us were um the leader. So and I think everything else was great. Um yeah, but mobbing in person is definitely a lot better.
Thanks. Any other thoughts from room one? Okay, cool. Room two, this is a smaller mob. There were 4 people in it. What were your experiences like? How did they differ from last week?
Well, the kata was definitely a little bit more complicated, so it took a while to kind of pick it up. I think not having a whiteboard kind of slowed things down there while we were exchanging ideas. But once we got started, there were no technical problems and things just kind of were moving fast.
Nice. Other thoughts from room two? Experiences you want to share, observations that you'd like other people to know about? Cool, cool, cool. Okay, here in the room, mob four. I think that was you all right here. Yeah, to my right. Okay, what was it like? You were in the classroom last week and this week. What was the experience like?
This topic is definitely harder.
Kata was harder. Yep.
I think it's nice to mob program. You got a lot of ideas going around. It's a lot easier to get and stuff when you get stuck because you have multiple people looking at the code.
Yep. I can't see behind that. Bounce around a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good observation because it's like, yeah, how long do you sort of stick to the idea to see it through versus like, oh, I've got another idea, let's try that one. Yeah, good learning. Excellent. Other thoughts from Mob 4? Oh. So yeah, had the AI generate some code, but then you like had to get it working the way you wanted.
An example was we made a decision to make one of our variables, like our attributes, like a count, like row count.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Rather than like num rows, num columns.
Yep.
And so the AI interpreted that as like a counter that changes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. Row count as a counter as opposed to just the total rows. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time.
Nice. Okay, and Mob 3, how'd it go over there? Heard lots of laughing.
Yeah, so I think for what Mo is playing, he was all very vocal. I don't know. I think the terms of what comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
As driven development has progressed in the right direction. We were getting something done every session. We had a lot of ideas on how to implement the same kind of logic. So we were like checking the adjacent squares, whether they were tied or not. We had 3 different ideas doing the same thing. So that's why we were laughing. Like, oh wait, we find that this technically better, but easier. Let's see. Sticking to one idea was one of our examples. We all just kind of like, hey, we're just gonna do this and stick to our guns. Yeah. So we were kind of like losing a little bit of time and efficiency when we were like implementing from one idea to another. We were switching drivers. Something for the future, more time. I just feel like I don't know. We wanted to finish this kata, but we just couldn't.
Yeah. In the night. Okay, cool. Thanks. Others from Mob 4, observations, thoughts, ideas. Anybody else? Okay, so yeah, a little bit of disagreement, a little bit of conflict, but you're able to resolve it and make progress and get through. Excellent. Well, good deal. Hey, thanks everybody for engaging in mobbing and pairing in the course. It is something a little different. I'm glad you got to experience it. I encourage you to apply it in either your courses or if you're ever involved in any sort of professional programming or hobby programming. That's everything for tonight, everything for this week. See you on Monday. It's going to be kind of open just for working on your project. I encourage you to be here in the classroom. We'll have a richer conversation, but it can also be available. Will also be available over the Zoom. See you then. Good night.
After the final, is there a general study guide listed on the